It's week 10 of lockdown here in Spain, and apart from some exercise walks, I'm not able to get out and do my normal landscape photography. So in this video, once again, I'm challenging myself to try something new, something I've never done before in terms of photography. And this video is going to be a water drop photography challenge. As I said, something I've never done before. This is not rehearsed, so I'm sure there'll be loads of mistakes and hopefully some lessons learned, which I'll share with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do and you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe before you leave. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again. Week 10 of lockdown, as I said, and apart from, grabbing some shots handheld while I've been out on my exercise walk, I can't get out and do my normal landscape photography. So once again, I'm challenging myself to try out an indoor photography technique that I've never done before. And in this video, it's going to be water drop photography. And I've been wanting to try this for a while. I've seen some amazing images produced using this technique. It's amazing what you can get by dripping water into more water and then capturing it with a high-speed flash approach. Now, I do know that some of the most impressive images that I've seen, where you've got kind of a crown effect or a mushroom effect, they rely on two very rapid drips being perfectly timed, which is probably almost impossible to actually make happen without one of the machines that actually does it for you. I guess maybe you can get really lucky if you persevere. But I don't have a machine. I'm actually just making something up as a way to get some water drops into a bowl. And I'll show you the setup very soon. Now, as I said, this is completely new to me. I've never done it before. It's not rehearsed. I'm sure I will be making loads of mistakes and making loads of changes going through the process, and I've got no idea if I'm going to get anything decent out of this or not. I'll probably skip through a lot of the trial and error in the video and just share with you the lessons that I'm learning as I'm going through. Otherwise we're going to end up with a very long and probably very boring video. Who knows, maybe I'll get it right first time, but I seriously doubt it. Anyway, let's get on and talk about the setup. Okay, so here's my setup. I've got two glass bowls. The first one is the one that the water's going to be dripping into, and that is full to overflowing with water. And then that's sitting inside another bowl, and the purposes of that is just to catch the overflow. I've actually decided to go for my 70 to 200 lens. I've got it at about 105 millimeters. All three macro extension tubes in. And so it's a 36, a 20 and a 12, which should get me pretty close to a 1-to-1. And I've got my flash set up over on the side here, close to the bowl, and that's sitting on a remote flash trigger, which is also on the camera up here, and I'm using a cable release. And what I've actually done is I've taken all the legs off of my tripod, because all three legs can come off, and just put the feet back on, so it's now sitting as a nice little desktop tripod. And that actually means that I've got plenty of scope to sort of move things around. I haven't got to have everything kind of next to the edge of the table. And then I've got my highly sophisticated water drip system, which is basically one of my tripods, which has got a little spring hook at the bottom of the centre column. This is my old Benro tripod that I used to use for video. Gripped in that little spring hook is basically a plastic freezer bag with water in. And I'm going to make a hole in that with a little pin. And hopefully that's going to give me a nice steady drip through, which will create the drips that I'm going to use. At the moment I've got nothing in the water, it's just water straight out of the tap. I'm going to try putting some additives in later. I've got some xanthan gum. I'll put it up here, whatever it is, xanthan gum, which might thicken it up a little bit and make the drops a bit more, I don't know, maybe last a little bit longer, make them a bit more impressive, I don't know. And I've also got a little bit of food colouring. I haven't got a lot, so what I thought I'd do is get the basics down first, just with some water, and then see how it goes. I've got the flash at the moment on 1/16th power, so that's going to be a pretty fast exposure time of about 5,000ths of a second, something like that. So now we get to the tricky bit. What I need to do is make a hole in the bag to start a drip, and then get focused, and then try and fire off some shots. Okay, let's see if we can make a hole in the bag without making a complete mess of things. Okay, the drops are actually coming off the corner of the bag, a bit too frequently really, but hopefully that might work. So I'm going to stick a ruler in right where the drops are and focus on it. That should give me focus on exactly where the water drops are splashing. Yeah, that's about right, I think. Okay. Now it's a case of trying to time the shots to the drops. Okay, so as the waters come out of the bag a bit, we're getting a slower drip rate. It's much easier to try and time it. Yeah, this is still proving to be a bit of a struggle to get the basics right. What I've been finding is, even when I've been managing to capture the shots, I'm not getting the splash itself in focus. And I've played around, I've refocused several times. I've got a feeling that the drops aren't necessarily always falling in exactly the same place. And with such a tiny depth of field, if it's out by even a fraction, I'm losing the sharpness in the actual drop. I'm also finding trying to use the 70 to 200 lens with the macro tubes, it's just too unwieldy. So I've gone back over to the 50mm lens, and I've only got the 36mm extension tube on, just to try to give myself a little bit more scope. I think I am just starting to get a few working with this. I don't really want to change the approach until I've got the basics down, then I can start thinking about maybe adding some colour. But at the moment, I'm just struggling to get the basics right. Okay, I think I got the basic technique down. Switching over to the 50mm lens has helped. Timing is still very hit and miss, it's just a case of taking lots of shots. I'm going to up the game a little bit now, because I'm going to add a little bit of xanthan gum to both the bowl and the mixture that I'm using in the bag, and I'm going to add a little bit of food colouring to both. What I think I'm going to do is add one colour to the bowl and one colour to the dripper, and we'll see. This xanthan gum is old and may not actually do what it's supposed to do. Okay. Okay, the xanthan gum didn't work. Now, I know that this is something we've had knocking around for a while, and it may be that it's out of date or something. It was in the back of a cupboard, and hasn't been used for years, so maybe that's the problem with that. So I'm going to give up on the xanthan gum, but I am going to try some food colouring, first of all in the bowl, well, some in the bowl and some in the bag, and we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, let's try a bit of blue in the bowl. I've got no idea how much of this stuff I actually need. Yeah, well, that's kind of an interesting turquoisey blue. Maybe a touch more. And then I'm going to put some of a different colour to go in the bag, and I'm going to put that in the jug. So we've got a bit of red. Quite lucky we got some of this food colouring, because it's not something we ever normally use at home. We've now got red drops falling into a blue bowl. Okay, let's give it a go. It's definitely easier to catch when the drip's coming a bit slower. When they're going fast, it's almost impossible. Okay, so one thing that I think I've learned is you have to watch. I've been watching up when the drip's leaving the top, leaving the bag. What you need to be doing is watching when it actually hits the bowl and have the button half pressed, and you still get it wrong. Okay, so I've just finished looking and processing the images that I've just shown you in the video, and I've only picked two, one clear water one and one with the coloured water. I've learned quite a few lessons here. One of them is that 70 to 200 lens with macro extension tubes really just doesn't work. Because of the length of the lens and then putting the tubes on, you still have to get the lens, the face of the lens, pretty much right up against your subject to get anything in focus. So it doesn't offer any benefit over using the 50mm lens as far as I can see. 50mm lens you still have to get really close, but at least it's easier to manoeuvre. So I don't think I'll be trying using the 70 to 200 with macro tubes again in a hurry. Second thing, xanthan gum doesn't work properly once it gets old. Not quite sure what happened there, but it just turned into like clumps rather than actually dissolving in the water. Third thing, I had lots of problems with focus on this, and I think what was happening was as the bag was emptying out, the volume of water was changing. I think it might have been shifting slightly, and that meant the water drops were falling in a slightly different place to where I'd focused. So what was happening was I was focusing, taking some shots, checking them, yeah, they were in focus, take a few more shots, check again, and suddenly the water drops themselves weren't completely sharp. And then I had to refocus again, and unfortunately I missed quite a few images. I had quite a few quite nice shapes coming out of the water drops that would have been nice had they been properly sharp. Third thing that I learned was actually to do with timing, and the mistake I was making early on was I was watching the drop coming off of the bag and trying to anticipate when it would hit the water. And what I discovered quite late on was if I watched the water and had the shutter release half pressed in anticipation, as soon as I saw the drop hit the water, if I hit the shutter release then, I was actually getting a better hit rate on capturing splashes. So definitely a few lessons in there. The images that I've picked are not necessarily the most impressive splashes, but I do like them. The first one is clear water, and I just quite like the shape and the clarity of it. It's not really what I was hoping to get. In fact, neither of the images are what I was really hoping to get, but they're kind of okay for a first attempt. The second image, I had a couple of others that I looked at, but this one had a clarity about it, and even though it wasn't what I was looking for, I do like the kind of effect we've got with the coloured drops coming down, but they're separated from the water in the bowl, but that water in the bowl almost seems to be opening up as if it's ready to, to sort of swallow the drops up, and I quite like that. Again, as I said, not exactly what I was looking for, but not bad. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please consider hitting that thumbs up, give it a like, share it on social media. I'd love it if you left me a comment and let me know what you think. And of course, don't forget about hitting the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's it. I'm going to sign off now. Until the next video, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.